Welcome back, everyone, to the Tavern Premier League. It is week 2. My name is Coach Jkkayy, leader of your Minneapolis Mudsdales. We've got a great game today. We are facing off against our good buddy, our friend, our brother, our actual brother, Ark, and the Fuchsia City Ferrothorns. It's going to be a fantastic game. Really stoked to continue the trend of great battles in TPL Season 1. Let's get into the team builder, and you can meet the squad for week 2. Batting leadoff for the Minneapolis Mudsdales this week is going to be Nobunaga, the Hisuian Samurott. Didn't get a chance to bring it in week 1, but it's coming off the bench, ready to showcase why it was the number 1 draft pick for me. I'm really excited to hopefully just ceaseless edge things to death, and we have some utility and some setup potential with Samurott this week. We cranked out as much speed as we could. I gave it a focus sash, and maybe we get lucky and we can click Swords Dance. Aquajet's going to do good chip damage and has my priority for the team. And Sacred Sword is there just in case the Archaludon goes nuts. Noah's team is super scary, and definitely having something that doesn't care about buffs on the team is going to be super important. So that's Nobunaga for this week. Definitely looking forward to carry some offense in week number 2. Next up is Primeape. We are bringing one of our Terror Captains this week after not really being able to utilize that in week 1. A Terra fighting close combat with this Primeape build here for Caesar is going to do a ton of work. I'm also running Stone Edge and Gunk Shot for some coverage moves, and we might be able to get like a sneaky Stealth Rock lead and kind of bluff that we're choice Scarf, depending on kind of how things pan out. We are running Life Orb though, so there will be some chip involved, and we have this thing cranked out with speed, but EV just enough to where I can use a move, take the 10% Life Orb damage, live a hit, and still be able to get one more move off. So Caesar is a glass cannon, but I just need it to really blow some stuff up, and maybe if we get Stealth Rocks off, it's bonus here. We'll have to see. It's a cool set, and I'm excited to see how it does in this matchup against Noah. Okay, continuing with some offense, we have kind of something that I think Noah might not expect. I picked up Milotic and Entei in kind of the free agency period between week 1 and 2. I'm bringing them both, but instead of the defensive wall that I think Noah probably expects Milotic to be, we are max attack and going with an expert belt for even more damage. I felt that Life Orb was a possibility to run here, but with some calcs, I would rather not take the extra damage and be able to take 1 or 2 hits and then be able to recover off and keep Milotic in the game. Scald, Ice Beam, and Alluring Voice hit most of his team for either neutral or super effective damage, and I think this is going to be a really cool, especially offensive mon that we bring that I don't think Noah will expect to be offensive. So that's the Milotic set. Aurora is hopefully going to put in a lot of work for us this week. Another kind of sneaky option, not super sneaky, but sneaky enough option for this week is physically defensive Registeel. Iron Giant's coming back for week number 2. One of the just 2 returners from our week 1 lineup. Registeel's getting another chance at it this week. Clear Body and Leftovers just kind of solid all around. And we're doing something a little silly here, but we are mixed negative speed with just coverage to hit a lot of different things. In looking at his team and looking at possible lineups, Earthquake, Thunderbolt, Ice Spinner, Flash Cannon, all really good moves. I do have to be careful. I can't click Thunderbolt until the Thunderous is gone. But after that, man, I'm just kind of free to click damage. And we recover off some stuff with our leftovers and with the investment and how bulky Registeel is on both the physical and special side. I think it'll be a great kind of mixed attacking wall on the physical side for sure. But can stand its own in some spots, and I'm excited to see if we can make it work. this is definitely going to be a test for the Registeel, and I'm looking forward to seeing if our kind of grand master plan is going to work. Our other week 2 pickup is Entei. Ontake is one of the volcanoes in Japan, and I thought it was a cool nickname. But yeah, Entei is another physically defensive mon. We are kind of making sure that we have multiple walls for Noah to break through. Second Fire has an incredible chance to burn stuff. Bulldoze is there actually for some impactful speed lowering. In some certain matchups, that actually is going to be really clutch. Roar, I have spikes for free with Ceaseless Edge, and I have Stealth Rock on Primeape. So 2 chances to get some hazard damage kind of to rack up, and also just like, hey, I don't want anything to set up on me, so Roar is there to hopefully just phase stuff out. Protect goes hand in hand with Leftovers, and Inner Focus being able to not be intimidated is great. So really excited about Entei. I think it was a great pickup just in general for the team, and it's got some utility here in week number 2 as one of our walls. So keep your fingers crossed that Entei is impactful. All right, the team captain, Delta, back at it again, back in the lineup as one of our special walls and special sweeper, setup sweeper. We're running Calm Mind and Recover with a Citrus Berry for extra recovery. Shadow Ball and Luster Purge both have a chance to lower special defense, just making Latios incredibly tough to deal with if we do get that special stat drop. It's going to help us 2-shot things. I don't think we're ever going to 1-shot anything, but we take hits pretty well, and this is one of the kind of strategies that I have, is to take a hit, Calm Mind, Citrus Berry procs, we can recover, and then start hitting things with Luster Purge, and just hopefully go to town on it. We got to bring Delta Airlines into it whenever we can. Latios is definitely our team captain, and we need it to put in work this week. It's one of our only special attackers, one of only 2.5, but really it's our only special wall outside of just natural bulk from Registeel and Milotic. So Delta's got to put in some work, and I think it will. And now that you've met the whole team, let's get into the game. Wish us luck. Go Mudsdales. Yeah. So, as you might know or see, different outfit, different haircut, different visual. I had my recording corrupted, and we did not get my side of the game. So, little disclaimer, we're going to be watching... Excuse me. I also got sick, so that's why this is now we're through week 3 in APDL, and I still don't have this up yet. So a little behind the 8 ball. The flu sucks. We're gonna be watching Noah's perspective, and then I'll commentate on top of it, and we'll just kind of fit it in there. But yeah, definitely not how I thought things were gonna go, but we'll make it work for this week. We'll have a banger video for week 3. The recording did work for that one, so you just have to stay tuned. Okay, now let's get to the game. Okay, so we've got Teambuilder out of the way, kind of an explanation of what happened in the 2 weeks since we've played this game. It might even be longer than that, actually. We've got Noah's video up. This thing has 591 views, so definitely go check it out. It is a super good video from Noah. And definitely watch his side of the battle. I'll link his channel down below. But let's get into the game. I'm going to watch this at 1.25 speed, just so that we can get our recording kind of wrapped up and finished with. So team preview, Poliwrath, Gyarados, Arboliva, Clefable, Deoxys, Thundurus. Didn't bring the Ceruledge, which I prepped super hard for. Didn't bring the Overquill for double Intimidate. I do have a Defiant Primeape and a couple of Mons that don't care about Intimidate, so I get that. But definitely kind of like a mix of what I thought he was going to bring. I did not expect Deoxys Defense. Have really no idea at Team Preview what that thing's going to do. And kind of like just looking at my team and kind of where things match up.
I kind of think that Primeape is like a very middle ground lead. At the very least, if it's a good matchup for me, I can click Stealth Rock. If it's bad, I can always pivot out. One quick note, at Team Preview, hazards look really, really decent here to break Focus Sashes, get some chip, and just kind of help our end game for maybe like a Latios sweep or something like that. So good luck to Noah. Super pumped to play this game, and I'm really excited about how things go, just because it's always fun to play Noah. So I lead Primeape. He leads the Deoxys. I have no idea what this thing is going to do, but I don't want to take a Psychic type move. I have a really easy switch into Samurott to take a Psychic type move. And then just kind of thinking like, okay, it's a Deoxys defense. I have a Focus Sash. If it goes for something weird, that's okay. I have no idea what DD is going to do. So I'm going to just make the swap here to Nobunaga and then just kind of see what happens. Excuse me. So we make our swap. Samurott comes out, and he actually goes for Reflect. So this is double screens DD, which does suck, but what can you do? Looking at kind of the lineup, I kind of go for a really aggressive play here. And I want to click Swords Dance because I have a Focus Sash. I'm going to be faster. Cecil Sedge is going to do a ton. And I know that I can't die. So it's as free as I'm going to get. And I really want to not waste the fact that I have a good matchup staring in front of me. He evidently was looking at maybe going into Bolotov for that Intimidate. He makes a pretty ballsy play actually too and goes into Thunderous, which is, hats off to him. This thing is choice specs and it's going to hit extremely hard. However, he doesn't know I have a Focus Sash. So this is a free Ceaseless Edge. I get a layer of spikes. I get close to normal damage with the SD and the Reflect kind of canceling each other out. So that's what I'm going to go for. He thinks he sees a kill with Thunderbolt, but we hang on with that Focus Sash, which is great. So able to get a big hit off. I actually max rolled that Ceaseless Edge, which gives me a chance to kill with Aqua Jet here. He's faster. He thinks that he's going to get a kill now that my Focus Sash is gone. And he stays in, and I go for Aqua Jet. And we're able to go up 5 to 6 really early on, get a big threat out of the way. And honestly, it makes my matchup a lot easier. I can click Electric type moves and not fear that Volt Absorb. And it forces Noah into making some kind of a play. He's got a Magic Guard Clefable. It's not unaware, which is great for me long term. Not great for me right now, just because it's a Clefable. But he actually makes the decision after looking at his options to go into Polyrath, which is super cool. It is Swift Swim, but at the time I'm thinking like, well, crap, this might be Water Absorb, and I need to figure that out. Over the course of either this turn or next turn or kind of how things go. I have no idea what this thing wants to do, but I know that I'm going to be faster at least this turn. So kind of thinking, what's the best play here? I decide that getting up a second layer of spikes is my best option. Sacred Sword would have done more damage, but I kind of weighed the options of like, okay, if he's Water Absorb, Aqua Jet's a no-go. Damage versus spikes long term, I decided that spikes was way more important, and I think it was actually in the end. Not against the Clefable, not against the Gyarados, but the rest of his team doesn't appreciate it now that the Thunderous is gone. So I'm gonna put him down, and he shows Rain Dance, which definitely makes me think that he's Swift Swim, but I don't know for sure, and I can't really chance healing him in any way, shape, or form. So I can't click Aqua Jet. And I'm going to find out right now. If he's Swift Swim, he'll be faster and I'll die. If I'm faster still, that means he's Water Absorb and he's defensive and the Rain is for Gyarados, maybe? I don't know for sure. But this was definitely an information gathering turn. And turns out he is Swift Swim. He's faster. Ties things up at 5. So now I'm like, okay, I have to figure out a way to get through to get through a Swift Swim Poliwrath that is going to hit like a truck. And looking at what I have and what his possible moveset could be, I ultimately decide that my best defensive option here is actually to go into my offensive Milotic. The type spread, the matchup, what I'm doing with Alluring Voice versus Scald, now that I know that he's for sure Swift Swim and not Water Absorb, I kind of can make that play not safely, but it's kind of the best option. Registeel did not feel like a good switcher. So now we get into a spot where he doesn't want to get burned, and I can kind of safely just click any attacking move. Ice Beam's not going to do anything. Scald has a chance to burn, which is great. And I have Alluring Voice for, to stop his setup. So I think I go for Alluring Voice here just to stop the bulk up. We get that spikes damage, which is great. And yeah, the Alluring Voice comes out on the switch, doesn't do anything. This thing is bulky. So Magnolia is going to get its health back, and I'm staring a AV Arboliva in the face, looking at my team. I don't really want to switch anything into it, and I'm just going to rip an Ice Beam. I mean, Milotic is here to do damage. Might as well get some damage off and kind of see what investment this thing actually has versus what it could be, and just kind of just rip it and see. I know I can't die to a Giga Drain. It's going to do a lot, but I can't die to it. So I feel pretty safe about just clicking the button. We do good damage, but not great damage. And we actually eat that Earth Power really, really well. If you hear Gus in the background, it's Tornado Siren testing day. So apologies for that. And here I'm just kind of in a spot where, all right, I live a Giga Drain. I'm going to rip another Ice Beam and see what happens. We almost get a kill. So close. And he barely misses the kill there. The rain stops, which doesn't really help or hurt either of us. It means Poliwrath can't really come back in quite yet. And expect that speed boost. But kind of non-consequential for this matchup. I decide to just get off as much damage as I can, and I'm going to let Aurora go down here. So Noah actually takes the lead 4 to 5 right now. And he's feeling fairly confident, but I will take that trade. Milotic did not have a great matchup with what he brought. So getting a bunch of damage on the Arboliva seemed like a really good use of that Mon. And now I can bring Delta out and just kind of either force this thing out, which I think that he was going to swap here. I knew that Alluring Voice was a potential, but I decided, it's more likely that he swaps out to maybe try and preserve grassy terrain for later. So I'm going to click Calm Mind and get a little greedy and see what I can do about getting a little bit ahead as far as stats are concerned. Latios is pretty fast on its own. So getting a +1/+1 on the special side seemed like a really, really good play. My Luster Purges after a +1 do a ton of damage. And I do go for the Calm Mind. So we get that boost. Noah clicked Alluring Voice. He stayed in, and he does just a little bit of damage, but he does get that confusion, which is spooky. But I kind of figured it was worth it. I've got Recover. I can heal back that damage over time, and maybe we get lucky and we don't take confusion damage. So I'm clicking Luster Purge here. I don't need to go higher than +1/+1. Just that first boost is so important for my defense and my offensive capability, especially with that 50% chance to drop their special stats with both of my moves, Shadow Ball and Luster Purge. So I do get a little lucky and break through the confusion. And we do a bunch of damage. So it is not unaware Clefable, which is so good for me. Means that Delta can kind of set up and not fear being forced into having to get stat drops on his side. I can just increase my stats, guaranteed with Calm Mind, and be able to force things out. And I'm fast enough to where I'm not really scared of much of what is on his team left. Man, it would have been so nice to get this thing to just die to hazards, but we don't quite get there. But we do get lucky again and break through confusion. It's a coin flip, and we were able to actually do some damage and knock out our Balava and tie things up at 4, which is great. The Clefable's taking a bunch of damage. The Poliwrath, I've got kind of an idea of what kind of a set it is now. And now the support Gyarados, of all things, comes out. This was a super cool set. Never would have guessed it. I'm also in a spot where I don't think this Gyarados can kill me. So I'm just going to rip Luster Purge again and just do a bunch of damage. I can't kill the Gyarados right now, but I can definitely two-shot it. And like I said, I can't die to a crunch. So it's going to hurt a lot, but I don't die. And I don't want to waste my buff, so I'm just going to go for it. We do really great damage. We get the special defense drop, which is awesome. And he Thunder Waves me. I went so back and forth on what item to run on Latios this week. Ultimately decided that the Citrus Berry was more important. But I was like this close to running a Lumberry. And that would have been clutch for this game. We do break through the paralysis, which is awesome. And we are able to knock out the Gyarados. So we're getting a little lucky, but maybe don't rely on hacks. That's the only time I'll say it. I'm sorry, Noah. I do get really lucky in this game. But I gave myself a chance, and I played to my outs, and that's what matters most. So Latios is in a great spot other than being paralyzed. Still have the buff, still can recover off damage. And I'm feeling okay for right now. And Noah's sweating right now because he knows that things are getting a little bit tougher with kind of how the chips are falling here. So I'm just waiting. I don't really want to waste my +1/+1. I'm still decent speed, even though I'm paralyzed. And this was like a really interesting turn. I'm like doing a calcs and thinking, okay, I'm +1 defense. I can live a Moonblast. Barely, but I can live. And we're able to pick up another kill with Luster Purge. And the Clefable goes down. So one of his huge walls, which is actually a little bit more offensive than I expected it to be. And now he's forced to go into Deoxys. Gets that little bit of chip from the spikes. And now we're kind of in a weird end game where, number one, I've seen Reflect from this, and that's it. I don't know what's other 3 moves. I expect Light Screen is going to be one, but I don't know what the other 2 moves on this thing are. So it was kind of it was a little spooky, and then I kind of got to a place where I'm pretty confident that it's not like a super, like... I don't know. The DD was really kind of strange to me. It threw me for a loop, and it was a cool set. But doesn't have anything that can touch Deoxys. Or doesn't have anything that can touch Latios. So I feel really good as long as I don't get pressured out of my moves. Which was something that I had to think about in kind of the end game situation of this game. Shadow Ball does nothing to Poliwrath. The thing's so fat. I'm even at +1/+1, and it still just doesn't do hardly any damage. And I don't want to die to really any move is going to hurt really, really bad here. The Terra Dragon Terra Blast was such a cool set from Noah. Definitely counters Latios straight up. And was just so good. He's going to Terra. Gets that dragon typing. And he's going to blow my Latios out of the water. There was a consideration for me to switch here. Because I figured that Latios probably doesn't lose to Deoxys. But I also, looking at my other, like, what was left on my team, I was like, if I'm faster with the Paralyze deal here, or if he, like, doesn't kill me or tries to go Rain Dance again to get a speed boost or something, and I click Luster Purge, because he kind of has to set up for that end game where Poliwrath is his sweeper. I was like, I'm going to go for the kill. I'm going to go for the kill and see what happens. He was faster. We did die. Great play from Noah. And now, I'm going for a burn. It's a 50-50 with Sacred Fire. That is the whole reason Entei is here, is to click Sacred Fire and get a burn on this Poliwrath. And then after that, I feel pretty good about us winning the game. It's not a for sure thing, but we do get the burn, and that does help tremendously. Now, even with a burn, Poliwrath in the rain does so much damage. I'm going to protect because I want to stall out rain turns. I want to get that burn chip to happen. But man, I'm still fearing like a big hit here. He's going to go for liquidation. And I'm thinking, well, hey, now's the time to either save Entei for the Deoxys or maybe lose the Registeel to a close combat. He does go for liquidation, though, and we eat it up, which is fantastic. Leftovers recovery is a beautiful thing. And he is going to go down to his burn. So, now we're in a spot where Noah is on the ropes. He's got a Deoxys left. And I have 3 Pokemon that hopefully, between the 3 of them, can get this going. Now, pressure is really spooky. Because I have a bunch of Pokemon that don't have a lot of moves. And there is a world where if Noah plays this perfectly, he could maybe get me to like struggle into him. And I'm very aware of that as we kind of go through this process. Not right away, but I do after a couple of flash cannons that never get a defense drop. I'm like, man, I don't know how I'm supposed to kill this thing. It's got dual screens, recover, and counter, I find out, which after the Registeel's gone, does work against my Entei and my Primeape. I do get some non-consequential, in my mind, crits here with the Registeel, and I'm going to speed this up because it's kind of the end game here where we're just going to play this dance of like, you know, Noah's going to try and play to his outs and put up screens, recover, you know, go back and forth. He's going to try and draw this out as much as he can, try and get some differential as best as he can. And, you know, I'm in a spot where I just have to try and get a stat drop, get a status effect or something. Just try and wear this thing down slowly, make sure that we don't lose the game to time. So I'm like kind of picking my moves fast. He is too. We both kind of know the situation that we're in. I kind of see that I'm going to win. It's just a matter of by how much. And Noah's playing for differential for sure in this environment. So we're just going to keep letting this play. Flash cannons. I'm like realizing now that he has pressure And I have moves that aren't real, besides Flash Cannon, maybe getting a status drop. Registeel's not really going to do a bunch to this thing. So I go into Entei for the sole reason to try and get a burn. I have 6 or 7 Sacred Fires left, which means like 3 moves. So I have 3 chances to get it. We get it on the first one. A little lucky, but it is a 50-50, so it's it's a coin flip at the end of the day. So that residual damage is going to help. He's got 4 recovers left, so he really has to watch that. And I don't know what his last move is still at this point. I had no idea it was counter until he rips it on a Sacred Fire here in a couple of turns. Actually, this turn right now. So I go, it's my best move. He goes counter, and I'm like, oh, all right, that's spooky. It's a cool set. But I know now that the eventual end game of this is I'm going to win. We're going to stall him out of recovers eventually. I can wait and kind of play the mind games of like, okay, I can go for special moves or physical moves. Registeel should be able to beat this thing in the end. But we do get to a spot where Noah just kind of concedes defeat and ends up kind of ending the game on his own terms, which is great. But we do come away with a 3-0 victory. So, like I said, super great video from Noah. Go and check out his thought process. But that's the game. We did play to our outs. We got a tiny bit lucky. Noah would argue we got a lot lucky, but I would say, again, maybe don't play for hacks. I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. Don't flame me in the comments. But yeah, no, super cool game. Really bummed we didn't have our recording come through, but we righted the ship for week 3 against Peyton. That video will be out maybe in a couple days. I'm playing some catch up here, and Ryan and I aren't playing our week 4 game until a week from today. So next week, Wednesday. So I've got lots of time to prep for that and get things set up for week 4 against EDahl. And I won't spoil how next week goes with Peyton. So I'm not going to tell you our records. I'll say Ryan's 2-1. You'll have to wait and see if we're 2-1 or 1-2. And we're playing for playoff seeding at this point in time. So thanks so much for watching. A little bit of a scuffed video, but I appreciate the engagement nonetheless. Let me know what set you thought was the coolest, what your favorite part of the game was. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, go follow Noah's channel. Give him some love. That video is popping off. So maybe we get that video up to 600 views today. If you haven't seen it, go watch it for sure. So thanks so much. We'll be back again in just a couple of days with our week 3 game against Peyton, which was a baller matchup. Yeah, go Mudsdales, man. We're in the win column. We're 1-1, ready to keep going for TPL season 1. And I really appreciate the support. We'll be back again soon.